Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you a really delicious sweet potato recipe for Thanksgiving. So you may have heard of smashed potatoes, and I have a great recipe here on this channel that will show you how to make them. I will link to that below. But have you ever tried a smashed sweet potato? They're totally delicious and a little bit easier than doing a sweet potato casserole. So if you're trying to save some time this year, this is the way to go. So you want to start with 5 sweet potatoes. We are going to cut these in half lengthwise, and so each half is going to be a portion. I've always been amazed at how large sweet potatoes can get, especially this time of year. You'll see really big ones like this. I think this is a little bit too big for a single portion, so I would get something that looks more like this, like a medium size. And they'll be easier to cut too. So just go ahead and cut them in half, like so, and you'll see that beautiful orange flesh, and then we're going to put them on a baking sheet. This is also a really pretty dish too, with that crispy sage on top. So many beautiful fall colors and flavors. Now that we have these all cut, our next step is just to take a little bit of olive oil and give them each a drizzle. This will just add a little bit more flavor to the sweet potato. And then you also want to season with salt and pepper. It can just be to taste. And then it's not Thanksgiving without pumpkin pie spice, especially with the sweet potatoes. If you can't get pumpkin pie spice, I will leave you a link in the description for how you can make your own, or you could also use cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg. And you just want to sprinkle a little bit on each sweet potato. How easy was that, right? So now these are gonna go in a 400-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on the size of your sweet potato. They're done when they're just fork tender. You wanna make sure that you don't take them out too early, because we are gonna need to smash them with a potato masher. So you do wanna make sure that they're nice and tender. All right, in they go. Okay, and then when they come out of the oven, they'll look like this. And then at this point, you can go ahead and just smash them with the potato masher right here on the tray. One little tip is you wanna make sure that your masher goes in the same direction as the sweet potato, like that. That way, it will smash the whole thing, because if you went that way, you'd only get a quarter or a third of the smashing. Okay, and then one other tip is just spray this with a little bit of olive oil, just to make sure that the sweet potato doesn't stick too much to your masher. There we go, you just give it a good smashing, just like that. You don't want to totally pulverize it. It's kind of flattening it. And if you have to, you can do it in 2 turns, like for the long ones, it should kind of go like that. The nice thing about this recipe is you can get the whole thing done the day before. Then all you have to do the day of Thanksgiving is create the orange maple butter, reheat, and serve. Let me show you how to make the butter, super simple. You want to get your pan on a medium-high flame. Then you're going to add 4 tablespoons of butter. I use salted butter, just regular salted Land O'Lakes butter, because I think it has the best flavor. Now, once your butter is like this, nice and foamy, then we want to add our sage. So sage is just a beautiful herb that you can find this time of year at your grocery store. I'm lucky enough to have it in my garden, which is fabulous. And it smells so delicious. The funny thing about sage is when you cook it in butter like this, the leaves turn really crispy, and it just adds so much flavor to the sweet potatoes, and it looks beautiful too. So I like to add about 20 of these little sage leaves to the butter, so that each sweet potato half gets at least 1 to 2 leaves. We don't want to totally brown it. We just want a very light golden brown like this. And this will also help toast up these sweet potatoes. And then the idea is you just sort of let them fry like this in the butter, and they'll start to become really crispy and delicious. See, and if it's getting too brown like this, I would just turn the flame off, which you absolutely can do, because we don't want to burn our butter, and the sage leaves will still continue to cook. It's not a problem. It's hot enough in there that they'll be fine. For a little sweetness and flavor, we're going to use 1 teaspoon of maple syrup. I have tried this recipe with honey, and I find it's not as good. The honey is almost too sweet with not a lot of flavor, where the maple syrup isn't as sweet and it has a lot more flavor to it. So I prefer the maple syrup. There we go. And then you get this really nice sort of syrupy consistency. And then a really fabulous flavor complement to the syrup and the butter is a little bit of orange zest. That is also really great. And I think it cuts the decadence a little bit of the butter and gives you a really nice freshness. So we are going to add 1.5 teaspoons. Unfortunately, this part you really can't do ahead. This is really better done right before you brush it, because I think the sage would get kind of wilty and soggy, and the butter might then congeal back, and it'd be hard to kind of get it back to its natural state. So you've seen it's done. This is all you have to do. So it won't take long. And I find Thanksgiving, there's so many people in the kitchen always asking, what can I do? What can I do? Give them this job. This is super easy. They can't mess it up. And people like to help. But the older I get, the more I realize that people are coming in the kitchen because they genuinely want to help. They see you working hard, doing all these things. So I feel that if you go into Thanksgiving with at least 5 to 6 jobs that you know anybody can do, that when they come in, it doesn't stress you out because you already know what the jobs are. And for me, those jobs are things like open the wine and put it on the table, clear the appetizer plates, take something out of the oven and put it on the buffet, call everybody to the table, like just simple little jobs that help you as a host and makes people feel like they're actually contributing to all the preparations. Okay, this is good. And then I would also taste the butter sauce. It's so good. Because you can customize it. If you want it a little bit sweeter, you can add a little bit more maple syrup. If you really like the freshness and want more orange zest, you can add more of that too. Then all you have to do is take this gorgeous butter sauce and brush it on the sweet potatoes. And I would not be chintzy. You want to make sure that you get a good amount of the butter on top of the potatoes because this is where all the gorgeous flavor is. I mean, it's still a decadent side dish without the marshmallows, but if you wanted to, you absolutely could put some marshmallows on top of the other ones, and then you could have both. Because there might be a bit of a mutiny if I only do this and I don't do the marshmallows. So I may do both on the day of. It's just a different kind of decadence and a different kind of sweetness. I think the butter makes it pretty decadent, and the syrup and the spice gives you a really nice sweetness, but I don't know, as I get older, I just seem to kind of crave more of this flavor than the marshmallows, but I definitely see why people like them, especially my family. Except for my poor French husband. He thinks it's the craziest combination he's ever seen. He does not understand that. And every time we bring up Thanksgiving in France, he has to mention the crazy sweet potato marshmallow casserole. And then my French friends and family look at me like, what is going on there? That sounds so weird. It is weird if you think about it, but it's good. Then you just want to take your sage leaves and put at least 1 or 2 on each sweet potato. I just think this looks so pretty with the sweet potato and the sage. It's so fall. And it would be a really pretty dish on your buffet as well. And then you're gonna pop these back in the oven. If all of your sides are in there at 350, they could also go in at 350 for about 20 minutes. If you don't have anything else in the oven and this is your last thing, just pop it in at 400 degrees for about 10-15 minutes. Then all you have to do is plate them up. I like to serve them on an oblong platter like this. I just think they look pretty that way. And if you wanted to be extra fancy, you could alternate which way the points go. I hope you guys give this one a try and let me know what you think, and I'll see you back here next time. Until then, bye.